Okay. So good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming. Small event this week, just because we're still in trial and test mode with Business Simples, but this is our first Lunch and Learn with Business Simples. And I have to say thank you very, very much to Louise Brogan, who's going to, well, she'll tell you herself what she's going to talk to you about in a minute. Okay. So listen, without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Louise. Louise, are you ready to go? Oh,
yes,
actually,
absolutely.
Louise, I have to, before we can do that, do you know what I need? I just need to make you the host, Louise. So,
sure.
And okay. Okay, Louise, that's you ready to go whenever you want to.
All right, perfect. Nice to see you guys. So today I'm going to talk, I have quite strict instructions. I'm going to talk for half an hour and then we're going to have questions. So my business is teaching people how to use LinkedIn for business. And I actually do quite a lot of LinkedIn management for people now as well, for professional services companies. And I am just going to get Guy to let me know if you can all see my screen. Can you see the screen, Guy?
Yeah, we can see you fine.
Perfect. All right. So how can LinkedIn help you to win business? Why LinkedIn? Okay. So I think you're probably here because you're already using LinkedIn, to be quite honest. LinkedIn had a massive growth during the pandemic for lots of reasons, but mainly because people who were used to being out in the road doing sales and people talking to each other over the water cooler or getting coffee at work could no longer do that. So they were looking for a way to find their network and talk to people online. And LinkedIn just exploded from about 630 million at the start of the pandemic. It's about 800 million users now. And the way lots of people use it, it's probably not the best way that they could be using it. So that's what I want to talk to you about today. So LinkedIn for me is all about building relationships. I kind of talk about it like being like your online version of your industry conference. So you go to a conference and it's full of your ideal clients and you're seeing people on stage talk about the things you want to know about. And you're networking with people. And when you go for coffee, you start talking to somebody beside you and you come away from that event with hopefully the right connections, having made the right impression and leads to grow your business. You can connect with, it's mainly professionals still on LinkedIn, although I've worked with quite a lot of product-based businesses as well. It's a place to find and connect with new and existing clients. And it is absolutely a place to establish your business expertise and to become known as the expert in your industry, because so few people are still actually using LinkedIn correctly. So 80% of B2B marketing leads on social media come through LinkedIn. So it's not to be sniffed at. Lots of people prefer to use Instagram because it's easier and it's more visual, but spending less time on LinkedIn actually grows your business much more quickly than the other social media platforms. So a couple of facts about LinkedIn. There's over 800 million members on LinkedIn. LinkedIn like to call us members. You can call LinkedIn users, LinkedIn accounts, whatever you want, but they like to call us members. 40% of people who use LinkedIn on a monthly basis are on there every day. That being said, about 1% of people who have a LinkedIn account ever post anything. So if you imagine you have 100 people in your network, there's one person who will be consistently posting content on LinkedIn. The other 99% are just scrolling, lurking, clicking like, not even commenting. 1% of all users on LinkedIn, which is a kind of a staggering number when you get your head around it. Why do you want to be on LinkedIn? The long and short of it is that people who have the money and the influence to make decisions to purchase from you are on LinkedIn. So 61 million LinkedIn users are senior level influencers and 40 million are in decision-making positions. If you are relatively new to LinkedIn, you may not know that there are two different profile types. There's the personal profile, and then there's the company page profile. And I have worked with clients who have set up their company as a personal profile on LinkedIn, and it's really not a good idea. but your personal profile is the one that is you. It's Louise Brogan, it's Guy Bucknell, it's Paddy Rice. This is your personal profile. And what you can see here on the screen is called your introductory card. So your introductory card includes your photograph, your banner, background image here, your headline, your name, your headline. If you have recorded a message to explain how to, it's the purpose of the little speaker here is to explain to people how to pronounce your voice, but you can record whatever you want in there. You can record a 10-second promotional sales message if you want. It's totally up to you. There's no checking on it. You've then got the number of connections that you have. Once you hit 500 connections, it just says 500 plus. Before 500, it literally counts it up. So say 381 or 72. And once you hit 500, it just says 500 plus. If you want to see how many connections a person in your network actually has, if you scroll down to their activity section, it'll tell you at the top of the activity section how many people are in that person's network. The contact info, which a lot of people miss out on, and it's definitely worth going and checking your own contact info, this blue clickable link here. In there, you want to add in your website address, your email, your phone number, and you can even add in your birthday so that all of your LinkedIn connections can wish you happy birthday when it's your birthday, if you want. On the right-hand side, you have got your company page link, and then you've got, if you went to university, it's got your university showing here. If you went to 2 universities, you decide which one you want to show on your introductory card. So if you went to Bournemouth University and then went to Oxford to do a master's, you might want to put Oxford University as your primary university on your introductory card. It's completely up to you. We are in control of whatever we have on our personal profiles on LinkedIn. Whereas the company page is for the organization. So it's for the HR company or the financial services company, or even for Business Simples. It's the company page, which is more of the traditional space on LinkedIn that you would have used for marketing. If we're back in our conference, your personal profile is you coming to the conference, walking around, talking to people and making conversation. Whereas your company page is more of the sponsor booth that you've paid for to be at that conference. So that's how you want to think about it. Company page, then all of the members of your team can connect themselves to your company page. Unfortunately, so can anybody else. So I can create myself a job today and say that I am the CEO of Microsoft, and it just sits on my profile and attaches me to the Microsoft page, pulls the Microsoft logo into my profile, and there's not much that anyone can do about that. So that is an interesting little blip that LinkedIn are apparently sorting out, but it's not quite there yet. So anyone can say that they work for you as we currently stand. On the company page, then you can see it's got the company name, the company tagline, the number of followers, and then ideally, if you are part of an organization that has a company page, you will have had some sort of training from your company on how you can best promote the company and share the content from the company page. So it's not just sitting there and the poor marketing person's doing all the work on their own. Anyone who has a company who wants to talk to me about that, I am very happy to talk to you about that. Okay, so your 5-step checklist that we're going to look at today is your personal profile, the company page, sharing content, building your network, and selling on LinkedIn. In your personal profile checklist, this is something that I do with clients on a one-to-one basis. It takes about 90 minutes from top to bottom. And it doesn't really matter if you think you're really brilliant at LinkedIn, it still takes 90 minutes to go through the whole thing. I have done this with about 40 to 50 people, I would say, from across the world. It's very enjoyable work. But you want to make sure you've got a headline that stands out on LinkedIn. When you use LinkedIn and you're commenting on other people's posts, everybody who also sees that post will see your name, your photo, and the first line of your headline. So you want it to stand out. You don't want to just say CEO or sales director or managing partner. You want something in there to make the person reading it intrigued enough to go and click on your name. So write a headline that is clickable, that's going to attract our attention, the right person's attention, the person that you want to work with, collaborate with, or hire. Your photograph should be nice and clear, head and shoulders shot of you looking into the camera. No sunglasses, hats, glasses of gin, people's shoulders that you've cut out of another photograph. And I think ideally you want to have a clear white background behind you so it really jumps off the page, because we connect with images 60,000 times faster than we do with words online. So you want to have a really good, clear photograph in there. Then as you go down, the next really important part is your about summary. And if you are in the business of going out to win leads on LinkedIn, this about summary is not about you. It's about the problems that you're solving for the people that hire you. So you need a bit of a mindset shift there. The LinkedIn profile was really set up for people who were going to get jobs. And in that case, the about summary was supposed to be a summary of all the work you've done in your career to date. But if we are all on LinkedIn to win business, the person that we want to work with isn't really interested in our 25-year career history. It's just not of interest to them. People are inherently self-interested. What can you do for me? So if you can write your about summary in a way that that person reads it and goes, oh yes, she knows my issues, she understands my problems here. So that mine's all about, are you struggling with, are you feeling overwhelmed with LinkedIn? Are you not really sure what you should be doing? Are you not getting any leads and sales on LinkedIn? And people who read that go, yeah, that's how I feel. Then they reach out to connect with me because I'm talking to them. You can then go on to explain how you work with people and all that good stuff. Make sure that you include how to connect with you and invite people to connect with you. Throughout all of your social media, if you do not invite people to do things, they don't do anything. Could be check out this video, connect with me, ask them a question. If you leave out that really important step at the end, the number of people who do nothing is phenomenal. And the number of people who do something because you've asked them to increases exponentially. Another section that I love on the LinkedIn profile is the featured section. And this is a new part that came out about, I want to say in the last year. And this is where you can put highlights of whatever you want to show on your LinkedIn profile. They have changed this in the last few weeks, and I don't like it because they've made it. It used to be you could see two featured pieces and then an edge. And now you can see 3 full featured pieces, which means everything has become much more narrow and squished. So before you could have put in links to your YouTube videos and you would see a nice horizontal YouTube thumbnail and then maybe 2 lines of text underneath. But what they've done now is they've changed it. So it's a small image at the top and a big chunk of text underneath, which is not visually very appealing. But the featured section, I get asked, I have a YouTube channel, and one of the questions I get asked on the featured section video constantly is, I don't have this, Louise. Everybody has it, but if you haven't added it yet, you won't see it. So you just add it under add highlights to your profile. Your experience section then is your previous experience in work and your current role. And this is where you're really looking at your keywords, doing some heavy lifting for you. If you have a previous career that's not related at all to what you're doing now, you want to slice that out as much as you can. Because if you had 15 years working as an orthopedic surgeon and now you're working as you get hired to speak about something else. When LinkedIn does its search and its algorithms, it's picking up that whole 15-year career as a surgeon, and you're being shown in results for people looking for a surgeon. It's a really strange example, I understand. But you want to have your experience section full of the keywords that people are typing into the search bar on both LinkedIn and Google that you want to appear in the results for. So you kind of need to edit your whole experience section. Underneath that, you have skills, and you can add up to 50 skills. I don't really recommend that you add 50 skills because you just want to focus on the key skills that you want to be found for. And again, most people created their LinkedIn account, years ago, and have not updated their skills ever since. So there'll be things in there that you did when you first started looking for work. And you'd be like, why are people finding me for this thing? And that's why, because you haven't updated your skills section. You can then ask your network for recommendations, which is such a powerful part of your LinkedIn profile. It has to be somebody you are connected to already in LinkedIn. And then you just send them a polite message and say, would you mind recommending me for my work? And they can write the recommendation, and then you can pin it to your profile once you've read through it and checked it. Really powerful piece of your profile too. The company page, make sure that you have your company logo. It adds the company, when you have a company page, even if you are a solo entrepreneur, create your company page, because then your brand logo comes across to your personal profile. It helps with the SEO search, being found on search for your business, having both a company page and a profile, because you're giving yourself double the presence. Google loves LinkedIn because it is such a massive resource of people are posting articles, videos every single day across the globe on LinkedIn. So Google loves it because it's like one of the biggest depositories of information that there is on the internet. And it's usually of good quality, not always, but usually. So Google really loves LinkedIn, which is why when you Google your own name, normally your LinkedIn profile appears at the very top of the search results. So the company page gives you double the chance of being found. You can share news and events on there. You can host webinars and create events that link through for people to sign up for them on there. And you can add your team members as well. And then your company logo will appear on your team members' personal profiles as well. All right, how do you stand out on LinkedIn? There are two things that you should be doing on a regular basis. Number one is posting updates. And most people don't do this. And it's not just updates about your life or funny jokes or a video that you saw. This is your business networking profile. So post updates that relate to the work that you want to be found for and hired for. It's absolutely fine to post the occasional, fluffy nonsense that's nothing to do with what you do. But if that's all you post, you're doing yourself a bit of a disservice. And for the clients that we manage accounts for, we post twice a week. So twice a week is plenty. Instagram, if you're trying to build a presence there, you have to be posting a couple of times a day. So another reason why you should love LinkedIn. The other thing you should be doing is commenting on other people's posts. That gets you as much visibility as writing your own stuff. And also, when you do that, people are more likely to comment on your content, and you've got your ever increasing circles of influence there. So if you don't know what to say on LinkedIn, or you're not really comfortable making your own posts on LinkedIn yet, then set yourself a goal that you go on 3 days a week, connect with a couple of people each time, sending a message to say why you're connecting, and comment on 3 people's posts that relate to what you do in your business. So they could be potential clients. They might work with the kind of people you want to work with. They could be collaborators, but make sure it's strategic and business focused. All right, what do you actually say on LinkedIn? Instead of saying, right, I need to post an update on LinkedIn, I would like you to say in your head, I'm going to start a conversation. So what is it that you want to be known for, and what can you start a conversation about? So I want to be known as a LinkedIn expert, so I start conversations about how to use LinkedIn. And once you get into it, there are so many millions of things that people need to know about using LinkedIn. It's actually quite easy for me to do that. So think about whatever your business. So Sandra, if you are writing minutes for board directors, what conversations can you start about that? So you could say, have you ever hired somebody to write minutes for your board meetings? And here's 3 reasons why, and then ask a question at the end and say, I'd love to know, is this something you outsource, or do you do it in-house? Start a conversation with people. This is why your network is really important, because if your network is full of people who aren't interested in what you're talking about, they're not going to engage with your content. So you do want to be careful about who you connect with, who you build a network around, but think about it in terms of let's start a conversation. The other thing is commenting on other people's posts. When you comment, use this kind of comment. So this lady Veronica had written a post. I could have just clicked the little celebrate button and left it like that, which is what 99% of people do. But instead I said, great advice. And I tagged Veronica and a good video. So there's about 7 words there. I'm now counting them in my head. If you just write one word, like thanks, Veronica, it's not really a comment. It doesn't really count very much. But if you try and write like 5, 6, 7 words, this is the way the LinkedIn algorithm works. It's going to push that post out to more people, and more people are going to see you. But you see as well, when I comment on someone's post, there's my name, my picture, and my title, LinkedIn consultant, podcaster, speaker. If I only clicked on the emoji, the celebrate or the like, nobody sees my name. So comment on posts to get your name out there in front of other people. Connecting on LinkedIn, should you connect with everybody? I think you might know the answer to this. It's no. No, you should not. I feel that your experience on LinkedIn is improved when you are strategic about who you connect with. So potential clients, existing clients, the people who also serve your clients. So if you are a financial advisor, maybe you should connect with lawyers, or maybe you should connect with HR consultants, because the person who needs a lawyer also needs an accountant, also needs HR support. So connect strategically with people. Connect with people that you like as well. If you see somebody writing an article or in a news program, go and connect with them. Connect with podcasters and people who make videos that you enjoy, because your news feed on LinkedIn is full of the people that you connect with. And if you currently find it boring, or it's not really relevant to your business, you can change it by changing who you're connected to. When you do connect with somebody, please send them a message saying why you're connecting with them. It opens up a one-to-one conversation with that person. They're more likely to accept your connection request because you've actually said why you're connecting with them, and it makes you stand out. If you imagine that somebody gets 5 to 10 connection requests a day on LinkedIn, and 2 of those people sent a message, those are the 2 that you're actually going to remember. Or maybe you're even going to click on their profile to find out who they are before you reply to their message. How many do you send in a day? LinkedIn restricted this last year to 100 people in a week. And a friend of mine who has an HR company in America, the message she sent me on voicemail, I honestly thought LinkedIn had shut down. She was so horrified by this. She said, have you seen what LinkedIn's done? This is horrendous, blah, blah, blah. And then I went, what's she talking about? And it was limiting the connections to 100 a week. And I thought, happy days. I think that's a really good move. For some people in sales, they didn't like that at all. But if you build your network slowly and steadily and strategically, and you connect with people with a message, you cannot do that with more than 5 to 10 people in any given day if you actually want to build relationships with those people. And it's much better to have 5 really good connections that you have conversations with that might lead to something than it is to connect with 100 people in the hope that something falls somewhere that somebody picks up and runs with. Okay. How do you reach out on LinkedIn? So the people that you already know, let's go back. Now, we are actually going to start to go to actual real life in-person events. Connect to the people that you meet at those events on LinkedIn. So your existing network, people you might have gone to college with, who you want them to know this is what you're doing now for a living. Who are they connected to? If you have somebody in your network and you can see that they look like they're working with your ideal clients, reach out to them and say, could you introduce me to that person? Being introduced in a message on LinkedIn is way more powerful than you sending the connection request on your own. An example, this very morning, I got a message from a man who runs a trust in New Zealand who was connected to me by somebody else a podcast that I worked with in Australia. And she has given me a very powerful introduction to this man. And we're having a call next week. Now, if he just reached out to me and connected without that introduction and without a message, it probably just have fallen into my network and I wouldn't even have noticed it particularly. So if you can get somebody to introduce you in a message thread, I think that's a really good idea. And you're trying to really grow your business brand. So think about who can we connect with, who can we support? Strategically, those people who work with the type of clients you want to work with, every time they post, try and comment on their stuff so their clients can see you. And LinkedIn have made this quite easy to do now, because when you look at someone's profile, to the right hand, you can't see this on your own profile, so you need to look at somebody else. On their introductory card, underneath their cover image on the right hand side, there's a little bell. And if you click on the bell, you will be notified every time that person posts, which makes it really easy for you then to go and comment on their post and get in front of their network as well as them. Deliver value to your network. So when I talked about Sandra starting a conversation about, do people outsource to their minutes for their board meetings to other people? Instead of Sandra going on to LinkedIn and saying, this is what I do now, if you need help, let me know. What I would suggest is that you do a series of posts helping people understand why this is a good thing. Why should you minute? What is good governance? Educate people. What does good governance look like? And why would people want to do this? What's the benefits of doing this? And become a valuable resource to people in your network. I worked with a client who is based in Cork, who is a PowerPoint expert, and she puts up posts purely about how to use PowerPoint in a way that people don't get really bored and fed up. And the people who comment on her posts, half of them are other PowerPoint experts. They're not delivering the value to their network. She is the one getting all of the attention because she's writing posts. I talk about this as being kind of opening a stage for other people. If you can create an opportunity for people in your network to show off how smart they are about PowerPoint or about human resources or about how to write the best types of minutes for a board meeting, by you doing that, people comment on your content, but you're the one that people are looking to see who might do this work for them. So creating the stage for your competitors to comment on your content actually gives you more visibility. Think about the frequently asked questions that you have, and we all have them. You meet somebody and they all ask similar questions after a while. Write those down, and that becomes the topics that you can create content about for LinkedIn, that you can make videos explaining these things to people. And never think that you can give away too much information. You really can't. You want to become known as the expert and the go-to person. And the people in your network will actually refer people to you. They'll say, oh, we need help with our LinkedIn. They'll say, oh, you need to speak to Louise Brogan. That's what she talks about. So it's usually the people who are connected to the people in your network who refer you work, who sign up to work with you. It's not necessarily the people commenting on your posts rarely get on the phone to work with you. It's usually their network that does it. So, which is always very interesting to me. A couple of things not to do. Don't connect with just everybody. Okay. Try and build a valuable network around yourself. Think about who you'd actually like to connect with, and think about who are my potential clients as well as who can I collaborate with. Don't forget, this is a professional network. My client this morning, when we were going through his profile, we weren't doing the activity today. We weren't talking about what content to post, but I couldn't help notice in his activity section, the last two things he commented on was such nonsense and nothing to do with his business. And I thought, oh, you're not showing yourself in a great light here. So remember, it is a professional network and you do want to be putting your best foot forward. So stay polite and focus on putting, this is us going into our online version of our conference full of our potential clients. How are we going to behave in that conference? we're certainly not going to go at lunchtime and get steaming and come back in and ruin all the good relationships we made that morning. So do remember, it is professional network. Don't forget to actually post on LinkedIn. People follow you and connect with you. If you don't post anything, they just forget why you're even connected together. So try and remember to post content that relates to your business and what you do. And aim for 2 a week. If that's too much, go for 1 a week. Making connections with people. So always add a note when you're connecting. Try and find some common ground. Oh, I see we both know Sandra. Or, oh, I see we both went to Ulster University. Or I really like that post that you did about XYZ. That's why I want to connect with you. That's enough to open a conversation with somebody. Then once you've connected with somebody, try and comment on their posts. Commenting on someone's posts on LinkedIn is like giving somebody a gold star. It's, because so few people do it, that when people start to comment on your posts, you really notice them. So it's can only be a good thing for building up your relationships with those people, and then nurture the relationship. There is a large financial services organization in the UK that I have been nurturing a relationship with since about September, and they are going to hire me at some point to come in and train all of their teams. But if I don't keep, just connecting in with the managing director, she might find somebody else to do that work. So every now and again, I just comment on her content or send her a little message, see how she's getting on, and they will work with me. Consistency pays off. So these are 5 things to try and remember to do. Post your updates and articles. Build your network. Do reach out to a couple of people. Every time you're on LinkedIn, try and connect with a couple of people. Send a personal message when you connect. Be consistent with your posts. If you connect with me, I will talk about how to use LinkedIn for business. I will not start talking about Instagram and Twitter and blogging and SEO. I will talk about LinkedIn for business. I'm consistent with the content that I share, which is why I get so much engagement on it. People know that's what I do. That's why they follow me. And your connections will reach out to you. They will send you an in-mail, which is the premium mail service on LinkedIn, or they'll just send you a connection request or a message. And then you're off to the races, as they say. So the key to success on using LinkedIn is build up your profile, make sure it's optimized, be consistent, personalize your connection requests, share relevant updates to your network, and respond to all the comments that you get, and make sure you comment on other people's content. Now it's time for Q&A. I think that was half an hour. And this is my LinkedIn profile if you want to connect with me if we're not already connected.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Louise. I do have a couple of questions, but I'm just going to ask, has anybody else got anything they'd like to ask? Yes, Patty, go for it.
So I would be, a lot of what you said I do, and I do post regularly on LinkedIn and all the rest of it. Someone had sort of put me in touch with, it's an extension on Chrome. So you post, then you hit the extension and all these random people comment and like your post. Now, I stopped doing it because once you're in the pod, you then comment on other people's stuff.
Yeah.
And I came out of it because you don't have any control over what you then are seeing commenting. And a personal trainer had me comment on his post saying, "You've changed my life, you've changed my body, you've changed my family's life. You're hands down the best trainer on LinkedIn." Like this big massive, and I was like, my friend seen it and screenshotted it and then sent it to me and says, "What are you doing?" And I was like, oh my God. So I've come out of the pod. I've sort of deleted myself from it, and I can spot people who are using it now as well.
Yeah.
I'm assuming those types of things are not good.
Yeah, I've never.
You're a sharp one, Patty. I must admit, I
think you've answered your own question there, Paul.
You can, whenever I went in, I can turn off comments, so I can still be part of the pod, but people can't post.
I wouldn't be, Patty. No, so I've never heard of that much advanced pod work, but I avoid pods like the plague because as you say, you know, you're obliged to, if you're part of something, the ones I've heard of, people add you to a group and there's like 20 of you and somebody posts into the message and everyone's supposed to go and comment on it. You know, it's just a waste of your time because they're not your ideal clients.
Yeah.
You're not raising your profile. And I can't believe, did he write those comments and people had to like just choose their comments?
Yeah. So when you're in the pod and you do a post, it then brings up a comment box and you write in. Now he didn't say Patty has to comment this. You just write in all your comments and the pod automatically picks somebody to post that comment. Now my ones were always just like good post. You know, there's a generic one there, good post, thanks for sharing it, but you can go in and edit it. And whenever I went and looked at his, he had about 10 different people testifying about how much he had changed their very existence. Their soul was now changed because they dealt with him. So I was quickly in and deleted all my comment, you know, deleted my name out of the comments feed. But looking at it, you can sort of spot that it, because it's all, the people who are commenting are all like third connections and stuff, who wouldn't
but also
content in that.
If you look at a post that, go and look at a couple of posts that I've done, you can see that it's genuine conversation. And that genuine conversation brings me business. I cannot imagine that would bring you any business.
See, again, I was thinking the pitch on the pod is you get likes, you get comments, then LinkedIn pushes you out to more people.
Or it deletes your account.
Black hat.
Yeah, but I think after using it for a while, I haven't used it in a good way now. But I just seen the other day I'm still paying for it. It's like $4 a month to be in the pod. And I've seen the other day, I was like, I'm not using it, I'll delete it. So yes, that will be deleted.
Take it off your account, Patty, because they do catch up on these things and they just delete accounts and there's no comeback from that. You won't get your account back.
I have spent time building it up. I'm sorry, I have a couple of questions if I can just bowl through.
Keep going, keep going.
The other one was you saying trying to do 4 or 5 a day and ID clients. I think for myself, I'm pitching myself as a first-time buyer mortgage advisor. So I don't actually have an ideal client. Like I'll do a first-time mortgage for a builder. I'll do a first-time mortgage for an IT expert. I'll, you know, anyone who needs help. So I don't, you know, where you can tailor your search. I want to speak to IT experts, HR managers, whatever. So I do keep it generic and just focus on Belfast. And I go in and try and add about 25 connections a day. Oof. And I do a message, you know, I have a message saying, trying to engage with people who are active on LinkedIn. Would really love to connect. Thanks very much, Patty. And I just sort of put that in. And I do, out of 25 a day, I'm probably getting about 15 back saying yes.
Are you getting any leads from them, Patty?
The odd one. It's one of those ones when, you know, you're hoping that when someone needs a mortgage, they come to you, but it's not something that everyone needs right now.
I think, honestly, I would, if I were you, I would focus on creating, like, I would say you probably would quite enjoy doing video. Create one really good video once a week that talks to people about the questions they have about their first mortgage, and become known as the person who does this. And then people will send people your way. Yeah. It's much more valuable use of your time, I think.
There's loads of videos on there and stuff for having. So I do videos and everything. Because I'm doing, again, I've loads of stuff on Facebook and I probably get more leads off Facebook. So I'm trying to also tailor it a wee bit and share that stuff on the LinkedIn and that. I think that's a couple of brilliant stuff. The stuff about, I may try and tailor it around people relating to the industry and piggyback off, you know, accountants, estate agents, conveyancers, that type of thing.
Yep.
That was my question.
Can I chuck something in there, Patty? Just to comment on both those things, is that when we were talking about SEO the other day on Tuesday on our networking, one of the things that I was saying that, you know, from an SEO point of view is try and be a good human. Yeah. You know, and that's almost what you're talking about here. That whole black hatting thing is like, you know, because people spot it from a long way away, and LinkedIn will pick it up quite quickly. But also this of identifying the sector that you, or the people, that the target audience that you want to do. I'm kind of with Louise on this one, is that find something that is generic to them, which you have is okay, with they're all around Belfast, etc. But then just act like a human, like you would as the nice guy that you are, a nice person that you are, and that people want to do business. And you're exactly right in that sometimes people, you know, and when you're on a sales cycle, it's touch until somebody's in a position that they want to talk further, etc. But just by being there and regularly touching and being that good human, then you're almost playing a bit of a numbers game there as well. But no, thanks for that.
Just one other thing, Louise, was and it might be for everyone, this one, the recommendation bit. I don't probably have any. I've a ton of Google reviews, Facebook reviews. I would post I copy the Google reviews and post them onto a template, and they go out on LinkedIn and stuff. The reviews, again, this may be open to the group. The people post on Google, so I would be assuming that the people are happy for me to repost that again on the LinkedIn with their name.
The recommendations on LinkedIn can only come from the other person's account.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to ask. So see the people who are leaving reviews for me, I should be connecting to them on LinkedIn and then sending a wee message and saying, listen, you left me a review on Google. Would you mind leaving me a recommendation on LinkedIn?
Because they've already done that, Paddy, you know, I would just say, very happy for you to use the exact same text. Here it is, just copy and paste it in. I
actually send them.
Copy
the text off Google.
Yeah, if they've already done it for you anyway.
As easie as possible for that person to actually do them.
I have one very similar on this actually yesterday, where I was having a conversation with somebody else, and they said, "Oh, you should talk to Mr. XYZ." And so what I did was I found the guy on LinkedIn, and I messaged him, and I just said, "Yeah, Stephen said we should talk," which was good enough. And sure enough, the guy's on holiday, and he's an extremely wealthy man, but he still came back to me and said, "Absolutely, you know, I'm away this week, but send me what you got." But because I had Stephen, and it wasn't Stephen Lust, it was somebody else, because I had Stephen saying, yes, please do mention my name. That's actually all it took. So that was the other way around it, or the way of doing it as well. Cool.
Yeah, good. No, the recommendations I'm going to push on. I don't think I have any on LinkedIn, to be fair. I've got a load of endorsements, you know, on your skills.
Yes.
But no actual recommendations. So that's maybe one section I'm definitely lacking on.
Cool. Don't mean to be rude, but we're running out of time, Paddy. No,
sorry, no, go ahead. I know I know what those in there. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it's okay. Don't worry. Don't worry. Cormac, you had something you had your hand up.
I was just going to ask about Sales Navigator.
Yes.
And I have tried to research it a few times, and I don't seem to get anywhere. And I think it's probably something that you need to be taught to use as well. But what's your feeling on it? And from a sales end, you know, we're looking for leads, obviously. So is it worth it? Is it worth experimenting with? How much time does it take, etc.?
I do only organic marketing on LinkedIn, but people I do have people in my network who use Sales Navigator and rave about it. You would absolutely need somebody to teach you how to do it. LinkedIn do have lessons on how to do it themselves, which might work. But actually, I think you can find people using the proper filters on the search on LinkedIn without needing Sales Navigator. What Sales Navigator gives you is if you are looking for financial services, managing director level in by county in England, you can create lists of those inside Sales Navigator. And against each person, you can leave a wee note or a tag, so you can filter them all out. So it's not really necessarily about the leads. It's kind of acts more like a CRM. You find people, you segment them by their list. So you go to Sales Navigator, you say, I only want to see content from the financial services people in the southeast of England today, and you see the content from those people. But definitely I would strongly advise getting training on it. It's not something I do. I don't think I've met anybody, it sounds terrible, in Northern Ireland who would be able to train you properly on it.
There are people out there who claim that they can.
Yeah, but I think
note my words.
Yes.
I feel that the filters on search at the top of LinkedIn are if you're trying to find people by location, job, section, even by how the revenue of the business, you can use that in the filter section.
Yeah, I went on a training course before I knew you, Louise, and Sales Navigator was mentioned there, and I actually did pay for it for a while. So, but I mean, it is something you really need to know what you're doing. As you say, you would need training on it, and you would need to be using it regularly. And I mean, I just found that it really wasn't worth it for me. It might be different for you, Cormac, but as Louise says, I think if you can find your clients organically, then it's the best way to go.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Any more from the crowd? No. Okay. Look, Louise, that was really, really helpful. It was kind of a good reminder. But you know, one of the things I find about this, and it comes back to that SEO conversations that we've had as well, is this thing about being a good human, doing what seems just sort of naturally right as a nice person. I struggle to, well, not that I struggle, I worry sometimes for people, then they start using tools like this specifically just for leads. And I know that's difficult. Cormac in particular, that you're talking about, both Paddy and Cormac are saying this for leads, but in fact, actually, it's much more of a slow burn.
Yeah.
It is. It's much more about
relationships.
it's about the attraction marketing side rather than the paid or the pushing marketing side.
Yeah.
And so one thing we didn't cover here, and I don't think you do, Louise, is paid advertising on LinkedIn. Not your thing. You're just
no. I do have I know I have somebody in England who does it. Previously, I literally directed everybody to the same American guy, but I have a contact in England who does it. You're looking at a lot of money. Yeah.
Okay. No, I get that.
Can I just check before we go? Is there a good time to post?
When is your network most active on there, Paddy?
I couldn't tell you. So that's the key thing. Check. How do you check that? Is it just a matter of looking through the network and seeing when people are posting, or?
So really, if your network are people who are in 9-to-5 jobs, it's probably morning coffee break time.
Yeah,
if your target audience is a CEO of a multi-million-dollar company, interestingly, your target time is after work or weekends, because that's the only time they have to check social media, because they don't really do it. But if they have social media, it's LinkedIn. And if they're looking at it, it's on a Saturday or a Sunday when they're on the sofa.
Right.
Louise, can I just sorry?
Go on, Sandra.
All right. Do you do a review of people's LinkedIn? I've spoken to you about this before. I am going to be reviewing quite a lot of my business, and my LinkedIn page will be one of them as well. So would you do like a one-to-one review of someone's?
No, the only one-to-one I do now, Sandra, is the VIP work, where we go through the whole thing together, and then I shoot like this a 3-hour session. So yeah, simplifying down my business. I only offer a couple of things now.
Yeah, no, that's grand. That's okay.
Okay. Any more? We all good? Okay. Listen, I'd like to just say a big thank you, Louise, because that was extremely useful. There was some really good new stuff there, like with the 1% of people who actually post. That's quite scary when you're trying to build a community.
Yes.
Kind of put it all into context. Okay. But it was extremely useful just to I know it was just the basics, and I know you have so much more detail that you could go into, but actually sticking to the basics is the first thing that we really need to do. And once you got that, then we can start looking at the more detailed stuff as well. So it's a very, very good reminder of that. Okay, I'm just going to call it a day on that one, saying thank you very, very much. Don't forget our next one, we have Joel Bradley. We'll be talking a lot more about that soon. But listen, very helpful, and watch out for becoming famous on our own LinkedIn page with your name tagged into this video. So excellent. Thanks again, Louise.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
See you all soon. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Very good.